a little dramatic. They got me, though. Use a robe. Huh?
I was thinking you might get the shower.
I was like trying to go in there and be like, do not. I go, everyone will run if you know. But they got me from the back. As soon as I walked in, someone got me from the back. And then we got Veronica, obviously. So yeah. They did. Oh, Emma had the robe ready. So, yeah, they knew it was going to happen. I tried my best not to, though. But, yeah, I enjoyed it. Did a little dance move, too.
Speaking of Veronica, she's someone who we know is known for her defense, to have an offensive breakout game for like this, especially while Tip was out. Like, how meaningful is that for this franchise to be able to see that she is a player who can step up offensively like that?
Yeah. I mean, just credit again to all her hard work. She's been working really hard. You know, she was the one that came early to camp, really early. So just credit to her sacrifice to, you know, put in the work. Believing in herself was huge. And then we just talked about, you know, the point guards, you know, her, Julie, and Carla. You guys were going to have to step up this game and keep us organized. And she just did exactly that. Yeah.
First ever win for the franchise. What does that mean for you and just the franchise?
Oh, it's more credit to the players and my staff. This definitely wasn't just me or about me. Our defense, in terms of the calls Kasib was making defensively, Coach Powell, he was giving a lot of important, timely defensive coverages. So, again, just credit to our whole staff, credit to our players for stepping up. I mean, this is just, it's not about me, it's about everyone, you know.
Natalie, first is the post-game celebration everything you've always dreamt it would be?
No, I hate cold water. I was trying to get out of it, but they had me cornered on every space, and they just pushed me in a little circle. But no, I mean, yeah, I got to celebrate it. This is a moment, and I'm very, very happy. Yeah.
You said pregame that against the Sparks, the fourth quarter execution was something you wanted to improve on. What was the difference tonight?
Yeah, we talked about, like I said, attention to detail to the game plan, and we just made a lot of, I would say, intentional preparation and shoot around today, just to make sure like we're all on the same page. My gut feeling, and I told my staff, I'm like, this is going to go down to the wire. I don't know what it is, but we're probably going to have a close game. And so luckily, like all the coaches, we actually met for an extra hour and just made sure we're prepared on any level. Yeah.
Now, I know Tip gave a thumbs up to the crowd, but how's she doing?
Oh, she's doing good. Yeah, I think we're just going to wait to see, how she feels. But I walked into the locker room, and she was the first one to open her arms and give me a big hug. And I immediately said, how are you? And she goes, I'm fine. And she just wanted to say congrats to your first win. So.
Curious on, a lot of the guards were really big in getting offensive rebounds. How important is it in your system for guards to be crashing both the defensive and offensive boards?
Yeah, we're trying to just, intentionally crash. It's not just crash to crash. Like, we want to try to get, more possessions, obviously. So Veronica, she grabbed 4. So that's 4 extra, possessions. So that's huge considering she's not one of the tallest people on the floor. Yeah.
You guys start over 17 from 3. You had a couple of preseason games that had a bit of a tough start from behind the arc as well. I know, like, your philosophy has been, like, let it fly. Veronica mentioned that after the game, too. Like, at what point do you start to look at that three-point shot and try to find other ways to score when it's not effective early in games?
Well, we talked about the time of it, too, right? So in the second half, we're just like, hey, y'all actually can get to the paint, too, and get to the free throw line. So that was just one thing we emphasized is, like, we're still going to get the 3, but let's try to get to the paint first, and that's what Veronica did. Veronica went straight down the gut. A lot of times where she was able to get past her defender. So, yeah, like I said, they followed the game plan. The adjustments were made at half, and credit to them for executing.
When it comes to defending a player like Sykes, how important is it to mix up your coverages and just what is the philosophy during this game of making sure that she doesn't, or is it more so you're trying to let her score and nobody else gets involved? Kind of what's your philosophy on that?
Well, she shot 19 shots, so that means a lot more than the other players are not shooting it if she's shooting it. But then, when we went, we stayed with our zone for a little bit. That's on me. I still wanted to stay with it. I was being stubborn. I like our zone. And my coaching staff was like, get out of the zone. So, yeah, again, a team effort. But, she made shots. And like I said, but no one else was able to really get into a rhythm because she was shooting all the shots. Yeah.
I asked Veronica and Kayla this, but it felt like as those threes weren't falling, you guys were really trying to push the ball in transition. You got a lot of deflections leading to transition or off of defensive rebounds. And just in those moments when you're not hitting those shots, how important is it to find a way to get the basketball into the basket other ways and playing with pace? And you talked about Washington being a fast-paced team, but trying to match their pace tonight.
Yeah, so that's just another way to gain more possessions, right, is to get stops or create turnovers. So that's just what we emphasize is, like, they understand if the shot's not falling, then we have to lock up defensively.
Hey, Coach, I asked you about Carla before the game. You said she was fearless. I feel like she was pretty fearless tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus 17. I mean, that's pretty nice to have. But yeah, I mean, half the time I don't know if she can understand what I'm saying, so that's why we decided to do signals. But yeah, whether it's English or whether it's French, it doesn't matter. She just hoops, and that's what I love about her.
And what do you think of Janelle's first WNBA game?
She just seemed like she was meant for these moments. Like, she just stepped right in. We drew her the first play, and yeah, she was able to just knock it down. So yeah, it's a nice piece to have. You know what I mean? But credit to herself of, like, wanting to really get to know all of our philosophies offensively, defensively prior to this. So that's her. That's her doing extra work. Yeah.
Natalie, expansion teams are supposed to struggle. That's the way it's built. And I think Atlanta lost their first 17 when they were in expansion. In some way, along with the joy, it was kind of a relief to get that first win?
No. I mean, we've been working really, really hard for this. Like I said, we've only played 40 minutes. Now it's 80 minutes together. But it's just credit to everyone prepping, putting in all the hard work. Sydney did a great job scouting. It was her scout. So I think it's just a collective effort of everyone, and then everyone kind of being intentional for execution. Yeah.
Going back to Janelle, just what does her versatility as a playmaker, as a shot creator, do to open up the rest of the offense?
I mean, it is kind of just that, what you just said. Like, her ability to do that does help, a little bit pressure off of Tip, who was handling a lot in pick and roll. So just having another person who can handle in pick and roll just gives them a lot, a little bit more freedom and a little bit more, like you said, just trying to get to the paint. It's hard. Like, what Veronica did tonight was very, very hard. She got hit, I think, almost like every single time she went to the rim. So yeah, it just takes pressure off, other players.
We'll do Janie, Matt, and then we're done. Natalie, Janelle also had that key defensive rebound that led to another scoring possession, right, in that final spurt. I mean, do you think of her as a key rebounder as well? I don't, we're all learning about these players. Is that part of her pedigree to be able to be a key rebounder for you?
I mean, yeah, she's a big guard, so that helps. But again, like we talked about, we're intentionally trying to crash, every possession, so that definitely helped. The timing of it was huge. But I think Veronica ended up leading our rebounding with 9. But sometimes too, it's just people boxing out, and then it's the player who is near the ball, and that's the person who gets it. But again, it's always team for us. It's team, offensive rebounding or defense.
Thank you all.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for.